This is the Kegland G20.1 Glycol chiller. And again, like with the Brewer and the Cannula Pro, I'm not going to bore you with taking it out of the box and showing you how to put it together. There's already plenty of videos on the interwebs that do that. But what I am going to do is show you how I've set it up and the things that you need to watch out for when you are setting it up. First things, when you get it, all of your bits and pieces will be in here. That includes this sight glass and the fittings and your, let me just grab one. Temperature probes, the power cord, all of that is sitting in the top just here. Now it's a very small opening to get the glycol and water into it. So I suggest that you get a funnel or something like that that you can use to pour the water and glycol into. And from memory, it holds about 17 litres in the unit itself. So mixing it at about a 30% ratio, and Kegland recommends no more than 30% ratio because otherwise the mixture is too thick and the pumps won't handle it. So they say 20 to 30%. I'm going to go with close to 30%. So what I'm going to do is 5 litres of glycol and then 12 litres of water. That brings it to about 25-ish%. So right in the middle there. The other thing to watch out for is that when you fill it up, that's just the unit. You also have to take into account how much your lines hold and how much your vessel holds. Because as you pump glycol out of here into here, that level is going to drop. So you want to make sure that you're maintaining that level as you're chilling. So what I'm going to do is put 5 litres of the glycol in, top it up with water, and then I'm going to mix up 2 litres of glycol into 3 litres of water and stir that up. And as the levels start dropping in here, I'm just going to keep topping it up, and that way the glycol isn't going to drop below the level of the pumps and start to burn your pumps out. So keep an eye out for that. The other thing is I'm only using one side of this at the moment. You can hook up 2 devices to it, and at some point in the future I imagine I will get something else that I need to pump glycol through. But for now, all I've done is on this side I've put a hose on here from the out to the in, so that if anything does get pumped out, it's not going to drop the level. I'm not going to end up with glycol everywhere messing everything up. And when you put these hoses on, make sure that you get a couple of hose clamps and do them up nice and tight. Now, initially on here, I put the butterfly hose clamps that you can get from Kegland on this side. I didn't think about ordering clamps for this side. And as a result, I've had to just go out to Super Cheap Auto, grab a couple of hose clamps and just tighten them up. So they're just standard automotive hose clamps. You'll also notice that the hose, so I ordered the 2 metres of hose, 2 metre lots of hose. I got 2 metres on the out and 2 metres on the in. And that fits just nicely. So that just wraps around the back of the brew belt and into the ports on the side here. And what I've done, as well as clamping it on with those clamps, is I've covered it in this high density foam tubing that you would normally use to insulate your hot water system or something like that. And with a bit of luck, it's going to stop the output hose from warming up as it's pumping the glycol around. So we're not going to be losing that well, you don't lose cold, you gain heat. So it's not going to be absorbing heat from the outside. Now I've done the other side as well. There's probably no need to, because once you've got the warm glycol mixture coming out, it's just going to go in. There's no real real need to wrap it, but I've just done that as well, just for consistency and looks. And the temperature probe is sitting in the front of the brew built here. I've just wrapped it around here a couple of times just so that I don't have too much spare cord lying around. Plugged it in and it's all ready to go. So I'm just going to put my glycol and water in and get my mixture ready, and I'll be back in a second. So it's time to turn the unit on. And up she comes. What it doesn't like is the thermistor that's missing on this side of the unit, and that's what it's complaining about at the moment. So I've just turned that off. I'll spin it around. The error code is EEE. Let's see what that says. Pressing any key can cancel it. There we go, that's cancelled it. So our level has dropped down to about half now, so we definitely need to top that up. I don't want it dropping down any more than that. The set temperature on here, or the temperature is saying it's 17.8, which is about right. Our groundwater here is fairly cool at the moment. Looking at the back of the unit, the temperature is now 22 degrees. That's the temperature of the glycol mix inside the reservoir. Pressing up once tells me that the temperature is set to 0.2 degrees. And down tells me that the difference value is 3. Yeah, I'm not going to play around with that. 0.2 is probably okay for me now. I'll check on that in a couple of days, see how it performs against cooling the fermenter down. So 0.2, that's okay. So I'm just going to spin the unit around. I've just topped it up with another 5 litres of glycol mixture. It's sitting around about there at the moment. I'm noticing there is a slight leak just in here, so I may have to take that hose off and tighten the fixture down. I'm pretty sure it's not coming through the hose because that's on pretty tight, but I'll keep an eye on that. To set the temperature that you want this to cool at the moment it's showing 17.9 degrees inside the fermenter. To change the set temperature, hold the up arrow for 3 seconds and that starts flashing, and then you can change your value. So I'm going to crash this down to 1, and there we go. So that's now set to 1 Celsius. And that's it. I'll just keep an eye on this. It's going to take a while for the contents of the reservoir to cool down. It's going to take a little while to bring, because there's about 80 litres of wort in here, it's going to take a while to bring that temperature down. But in the meantime, everything seems to be working pretty well at the moment. I can hear that the fan is going, so it's definitely on a cooling cycle. There's no significant leaks. I did spill a little bit of product and I noticed that it dripped down the corners, but that all seems to have stopped now. And I can see product it's not quite covering. It's not quite covering those cooling coils just in here. So I'm just going to grab a little bit more water and just top up with water until I see that sight glass is full. Okay, those cooling coils are now covered. I'm just going to leave this unit to do its job now and check back in on it a little later tonight and see what's going on. So just before we wrap the video up, let's just do a quick calculation on the glycol percentage that went in there. We put in 6.5 litres of glycol into a 21.5 litre total volume that went in there. And that gives us 30.2%. So that's right on the money. That's exactly where I wanted it to be. With 30% glycol, I can get really cold temperatures in there. I can get sub-zeros. -3 shouldn't be an issue, which means that on the hot days here in Brisbane, and in about a month from now, the temperatures will hit 30 degrees, and they'll stay there for the entire summer. And most of what we call autumn, Americans call fall, those temperatures will stay up in the 30s. That's 33 to 35 all summer, all autumn, and most of spring. So this glycol chill is going to get a bit of a workout, especially seeing as I'm going to be lagering in the brew bilt, producing a lot of lagers. But that wraps it up for this episode. If you found the content of this video useful, give us a thumbs up, Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and click the notification bell so you find out about when we've got new episodes coming out. That lets YouTube know that the content is useful and helps get our videos out in front of more people. Cheers.